Okay, Superman was pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. So to get started, to be honest, I wasn't really into it going, or I wasn't looking forward to it. I wasn't excited about the new Superman, mostly because of the actor. I really thought Henry Cavill was the best we were gonna get. He's he looks super good as Superman. Very accurate. He was a great actor. Henry Cavill's one of my favorite actors. I enjoyed Man of Steel too. There was like some of the Justice League movies too, but they didn't really work out. Um, I was okay with the darker approach that Snyder was going for. And I knew going into the movie that James Gunn was going to lean more into the savior aspect, which I was perfectly fine with too, because I also like that part of Superman. And I was comparing him to like an expectation of the savior aspect with like All Might from My Hero Academia, because I think he's like the perfect hero, but that's a different video. Um, like I said, I wasn't looking forward to the movie. None of the promotions made me want to watch it more. Matter of fact, it made me want to watch it less. The CGI trips that the trailers released, like this flying. I thought Crypto was gonna be, like kind of like a forced comic relief character. Comic reliefs are done well if they're really good if they're written right. But like, I don't know. I felt like, oh, let's put this dog there, just fine, But like, I thought that it wasn't gonna like go well with the story. It's gonna be like force fed into our mouths. So overall, before I wasn't excited. I wasn't even gonna watch this in the movie theater. I was just gonna wait for it to come on whatever streaming service, watch it there, and maybe just like, okay, that was pretty good. That was pretty okay, whatever. But holy airball! All of my thoughts. This movie was great. I'm I'm gonna try to give a non-spoiler review first, then maybe get into spoilers. The spoilers won't be like too much. They'll just be like more talking about my favorite scenes, maybe some things that I like, some things that I didn't like, or whatever. Just more specifically. So the non-spoilers. The movie throws you like right in the middle of it. The movie doesn't really spend time. I actually don't know. This might be a spoiler. I don't know. The movie doesn't spend time on an origin story. It expects you to know who Superman is. It expects you to know his origin story already, which I mean I think is a fine approach because like I feel like mostly everyone knows Superman's origin story. Krypton explodes. His parents send him to a planet. It's planet Earth. He's a god amongst men. It's not that simple. It's one of like more of the basic. Well, I say basic story types, but like it's pretty well known. So, I kind of agree with this approach. Maybe it's not good if like you're just getting into Superman, but I feel like I haven't met someone who doesn't already know. But we'll see. Cause I mean, it worked. It worked for me. I already knew Superman before this. I don't know if anyone else doesn't know Superman. But just yeah, know that going into it doesn't really explain the origin story that much. Which actually helped the pacing a little more. I thought because I feel like with the origin story, if you added that to this movie, then it kind of dwell more on that, and it spend more time on stuff that people like kind of already know. And with this, it just like, it didn't need to use that. It didn't need to spend half an hour talking about showing his origin story. It didn't have to spend that much time. It spent like the whole time just new, fresh writing, story, plot line, and that's why I liked it. That's why I liked it. It started right then and there. Um, Overall, the supporting characters, huge win. Some of them I thought I disliked when they introduced them. Actually, ended up becoming highlights in the movie. They're also not all just trying to be funny at the same time. Like the jokes in this, they're not forced. I don't think. Maybe like one or two they kind of do like forced joke it. Like, oh, let's try to be funny, but they mostly feel natural. Like let's like it makes you laugh. Or just like giggle. It's not too. They don't try to be super funny, and it's just it works well. I also thought the action scenes were great in the way that each character kind of had like, each character is different. There's no two characters with like the same thing. Um, so they kind of like had this. I thought it was great how each of their abilities was welly displayed. It was very well displayed during their fights. It was their scenes, their action scenes. The only nitpick would be that I wish it would show him like Superman's abilities more, but I mean that's like a super nitpick because you know you still know he's Superman, and they do show his abilities obviously, but like when I think of Superman, I really do think of just like invincible. This guy is super well. He's just invincible. He's Superman. He is the Superman. Which brings me to the next topic. Um, Going into this, I heard weakened they weakened Superman or whatever. Try to make it more interesting. I think it just makes the writing more easier for them. But honestly, that wasn't very obvious in the movie. It it felt like the villains were really, like the threats were really appropriate. They were just like really strong. They were like Superman level threat, and it never felt. I feel like I didn't feel like, even though Superman might have gotten his ass kicked a couple times, like it never felt like it was forced. Never felt like, bruh, like the real Superman could have taken that. It really does feel like, no, yeah, Superman just got his ass kicked, and it was, rightfully so. Like, yeah, yeah, that's all it is. Even like with the characters that aren't just super strength, like, oh, this guy, he has Superman abilities too, and he could beat you up. No, even like other characters, other like threats affected him. Other threats, were able to like kind of not stop him, but like they were just kind of, they could slow him down, like for sure. And I never felt like he was weak. I never felt like, come on, like what is this Superman doing? Like, this guy's not smart. This guy's actually weak. Like, this guy's not Superman. It never once felt like that. Um, it just felt like the villains were just well written, and they were just that strong. Going into that, I think I'm gonna talk about the characters. Let's start with Crypto. Like I said in the beginning of the video, I thought Crypto was gonna be forced comic relief. I thought he was going to be, just like, here's a dog, have fun with the dog. But although, no. But his introduction was pretty funny actually, and like, yeah, he's a dog, but like they didn't force it to you. Like, he was like there. He wasn't like a super big. He didn't really like affect it that much. Like I thought it would, and he didn't like. He was just what he was. He was a supporting character, and I liked that they did that with him. He didn't, like I said, they didn't force it to us. They're like, here's a dog. Oh, he's showing his stomach. He's rolling over. He doesn't sit or whatever. Like, it wasn't really like that. I felt like he was really well written into the story, and they didn't force it at all. I felt like it was natural when he would show up. So next, let's talk about Lois Lane. I feel like the Lois Lane was really, really well written. I felt like the Man of Steel Lois Lane was also well written though. Um, yeah, they're actually. I feel like they're really similar, just different actresses. To be honest, the actress did a super good job though. I feel like they're both just really great, and the writing was also really great for both of them. Uh, you know, it might have been better in this movie just because this film kind of goes more into like the depths of like in the real conflicts of what it takes to have a relationship with Superman. It doesn't just like like I'm dating a superhero. No, it really reflects like the human part of dating an alien. Talks to like it goes into her emotions and how like grounded she is, and I thought that was really well displayed. Also, didn't really force her into the story either. Like she wasn't like a big. She didn't really like affect the plot too much, like more than she should have. As like a reporter, as Superman's, as a reporter, as Superman's girlfriend, she never did anything more than she could have. She never like, not like a spoiler, but she never like punched a bad guy. She never forced her way into that. She did what she could, and I thought that was what was expected. Because like there shouldn't be a reason like where she would have such a great effect like that, and I think that was just she was like she also didn't like depend on Superman, like not just like saving her or whatever, because I mean obviously Superman would have saved her, just more like she kind of just did her own thing, like she was her own character, like she was very like dependent and just well written. I think that was great. Okay, I want to talk about the side characters now. The Justice Gang included, Guy Gardner. He was like the Green Lantern of the story. Mr. Terrific and Hawk Girl. I really liked them. The introduction had me feeling like they weren't gonna be likable. They were gonna be obnoxious or something. Maybe rivals to Superman. Like, oh, you may be an alien or whatever, but we're also metahumans. Like, we're also strong and like we'll stop you if we have to or whatever. I thought they were gonna be like that. The introduction made it seem that way. Like, oh, like we don't need you, we have us. But it was not like that at all. In fact, like they weren't rivals with Superman. They were also their own characters. Like I said, like nobody needed to depend on Superman to like be like in the story or just be who they are. They were just their own characters, and they didn't try to be better than they weren't trying to be better than Superman. They weren't trying to put him down. They weren't trying to like do anything. In fact, like there was a lot of times in the movie where they were like kind of like there for him, and just like normal people would be. And I think this was a very good direction because like Guy Gardner, he normally in other depictions of him, he isn't a well liked character. He's still a good guy, but he's not like really a likable one. He's kind of like the jerk, the asshole. But I think Nathan Fillion just really outdid the character. I don't know if maybe I just like Nathan Fillion like better than Guy Gardner or whatever, but like I kind of like, I liked them. I liked them in I liked them in the movie, and Miss Terrific also very good character. I honestly didn't really. I knew what Mr. Terrific was, but I haven't like watched or read anything like with him on it. I haven't really like, whoa, this Mr. Terrific guy is super good, and this movie it just changed my mind. He was like definitely one of the best characters in the whole movie. And Hot Girl, I kind of wish they gave her more screen time, but other than that, just all three of them were really good. Definitely, not what I expected. Okay, Superman. First of all, I probably should have started with this, but David Cornsweet is Superman. David Cornsweet, he is Superman. Um, like I said, I liked Henry Cavill better. I liked Henry Cavill better. But that was just on looks. I wondered throughout the whole movie what if Henry Cavill had this script? What if Henry Cavill worked with this writing? And like, although I think it could have worked, I feel like David Cornsweet just really knocked it out of the park. It was his acting was just phenomenal. You could really feel for his emotion. You could feel for his like his own strength, his own depictions of himself, and what he thinks about like just his thoughts, what he does, why he does what he does. You know, why he thinks what he thinks. And like I said, his strength, like it's shown, his abilities are shown well. It never feels like he was weakened as much. You know, it just feels like the other guys were just that strong. But mostly, I want to go with how he was written in the emotional aspect. I think it was really good. The story threatens his beliefs a little about humans and Earth and all that, and the way it just reinforces his strength, his beliefs. It was really well done. It wasn't like the emotional scenes in this movie. It wasn't corny or anything. It was all done like really well. Where you like, it was really grounded and just. I didn't have any complaints about it at all. Like, especially because there's like some controversial aspects on this part, I guess, about his beliefs or whatever. You know, like why his beliefs are shaken, are shook. But I don't think it's such a big deal. Or I don't like. I think just the way they handled it, it was really good. It was, it I felt contagious, and I just like I felt it while I was watching the movie. Oh, finally, I want to talk about Lex. By far, I think the best character in the whole movie. He stole every scene he was in. By far the best character. Nicholas Holt plays his character phenomenally. Phenomenally. The character itself is well written though, and just first of all, the character design just amazing. He looks exactly like you'd expect Lex to look. Like, some things that could go against him is how there's not like a roots reason on why he does what he does or whatever. But like, he does explain himself, but like I think just like his explanation just says it all. Like there isn't a reason. Like he's just a hater. He's just a hater, and he's a good one at that. I don't like I think he set the standard for hating, and like some of the stuff he does in the movie is just like you just think like what did Superman do to make this guy so mad? And it was so interesting to watch. Just watching him just do his own thing is just so interesting from the start to finish. And every single plot line in this movie, like all directly connects to him. And that was one of my concerns when I was watching the trailer. Because I felt like they showed a lot of villains, or like not villains, just threats in the trailers. In the trailers, they were like, oh, there's this big monster. Oh, there's this threat. Oh, there's this threat. There's this threat. And it honestly, the whole plot line, all directly just manipulated by Lex. I hope that's not a spoiler or anything. It's just like that's what I wanted. Like this guy is just like he is the big bad, and the way they write him in the story, the plot lines and all that, it like him just being a human, like yeah, gazillionaire, I guess, but like also he's just a genius. He's just an evil genius, like not just like in inventing stuff, which he is obviously, but like problem solving and like like how he could be such a threat to Superman as a human. I think it was super well done, and just like I said, they could have forced it. In the animation, they give him a suit, and honestly, that would be pretty cool too. I guess I'm not gonna spoil it or anything. I won't tell you if or not they give him a suit, but whatever. I think I'll cut that part out. Like in the animations, they kind of make their own way of how he could be a threat. They thought he himself could be a threat. He'll make himself Superman or whatever. But this way, he was literally controlling everything. He was the threat like the whole time. And I don't. And just like that was just him. That was just him, and just a human. He was the anchor of the whole movie. Just the intensity that he brings, that the actor put in him, is just phenomenal. And I really hope we get to see more of him in future movies. So overall, I rate Superman a 9 out of 10. That's just my skill right now. I think I'll change it in future videos. Take the scale right now with a grain of salt. It might change upon rewatch. I just watched it, so like I'm kind of just like hype. Like that was good, and then like the next day I'm like, okay, it was that good, but like this, they could have done this. But right now it's a 9. You could like might change to an 8.5, 9.5. Up or down. It won't change too much. It won't change from like a 9 to like a 7. Definitely not. It's definitely just like around there for sure. And I definitely recommend you watch it. Like honestly, like at this point, don't even watch trailers. Just like go in and watch it. Just if it's bad, it's bad. If it's good, it's good. I think it's good. I would recommend it. I already recommended it to my brother. I already recommended it to some friends. I'm like, bro, I just watched it, and like honestly, it was good. Like you guys should go watch it. Like I recommend watching it in the theater. I was gonna wait for it to come out on streaming service, but the theater it just hit. It's definitely one of those movies where you like. It would be better to watch in the theater. There's some movies it's whatever, just watch wherever. This one was pretty good in the theater. I think it's good for already Superman fans for sure. I think it might be better for people who are already Superman fans. New Superman fans might need like a little more background to Superman first and then go in and watch it. But it's just like a basic background. It doesn't like introduce a new character, It doesn't like. It's still Superman. And honestly, I would compare it to James Gunn's other work, Guardians of the Galaxy and all that. Just because it is really comparable to that. Like, it's fresh, but it's also like kind of has the same flavor as Guardians of the Galaxy, because Guardians of the Galaxy is like super good and it's so fun to watch. I would say Guardians of the Galaxy is a little better but that's just because like what James Gunn has to work with like the characters. It just might be like more better, I guess. No, that's grammatically impossible. Just a little better, just more. He has more to work with. But honestly, I would kind of compare it to like this is as like if you told me would you rather watch Guardians of the Galaxy or Superman, it'd be like, damn, I don't know. It'd be what I was feeling, to be honest. It'd be like, would I rather watch Superman or the Guardians? And I don't know. That's I would compare, like, I don't know, these movies are kind of like both really good. But I digress. I think this one is worth watching in a theater. Please watch it. Come back. Let me know if you agree or disagree in the comments. Let me know what you think about this review. It's the first one. I might add more editing in the future when I get better at that. Or less of something. More or less of something if you want me to do more or less of whatever. If you watch it, let me know if you think I should have talked about other stuff. But yeah, just let me know. Back. Okay, now I'm gonna get into spoiler. So spoiler warning right here. Spoiler warning right here. The spoilers are just gonna be more about specific scenes that I liked. Maybe some like stuff to defend. Maybe some stuff to like just talk about. So first of all, the side characters, like I said, they're just the games that really worked. The Guy Gardner, I don't really have that much. Guy Gardner, I don't really have like that much to talk about him, like except that I haven't already said. Um, I guess the only spoiler I'll get into is the Mr. Terrific scene. So just Mr. Terrific showed his display of powers. Just like maybe if you don't know who Mr. Terrific is, you will know who he is at the end of the movie. He was just amazing in this showcase. He was just amazing in this showcase of his abilities, and all in a fun, like, cool scene. Cause it was fun, but it was also like you're just like in you're just like in awe of watching it. and all while and all while 5 years time by Noah and the Whale in the background playing, just like while he's fighting, is just like it was peak. It was honestly peak, and I just like what I was watching. I wish Hot Girl got more screen time. I wish I had more to talk about her, but I maybe we'll see more of her in the future. I hope so, because the screen time that she did have was grounded and it made sense, and it does go into more into like who she is, like when she kills that president. next, next I'm gonna talk about my favorite scene with Lex, and probably in the whole movie. So Lex is interrogating Superman. About I can't remember like if he was actually asking questions, or if he was just like just playing, just teasing with him. But in order to do it, he brings like the leader of Bulgaria and a hostage. The hostage he was shown for like a minute. He had like 1 minute of screen time earlier in the movie. He literally had nothing relevant except for the fact that he talked to Superman like once. He might have talked to him once, maybe like one time before that. Like I think it gives us some of that too. But like in the movie, just 1 minute of screen time, and that's the hostage. So I think he's asking questions, but he doesn't. Superman doesn't answer, and immediately this guy just gets sympathy points. The hostage he says stuff like, just don't answer them, Superman. Don't answer them, Superman. Like I don't have a family. Like it's fine. Don't answer them. Like I'm fine dying. And like immediately like damn bro, like what? Like it's you're still gonna die, man. Like at least like don't make it like harder, you know? Like I don't know if it would have been more emotional if he had like resisted more, or if he kept like going with that, you know? But he's out here begging. Superman's begging him not to do it. Like he had nothing to do with it, and he really didn't. He really didn't. I guess, he Lex would do it because he doesn't know who Clark Kent was. That's probably why. Most definitely why he doesn't know his secret identity. He doesn't have like he's not gonna hurt his mom or his dad or his girlfriend or whatever. He's like he talked to this guy, so I'm gonna kill him. But the way it goes is he has his hostage. They're gonna play Russian roulette. One of the best games of Russian roulette I've ever seen. Even though it wasn't different, he didn't do anything different with the Russian roulette. But I feel like with movies, what they do is with Russian roulette, they add a lot of intensity, like suspense, like when it's gonna go off. So you go click, click, click. I feel like they go through a barrel and a half before they actually shoot him. And like when they do shoot up, when the shooter ends up like click, 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 they'll say some like one liner. They'll be like, well, that's too bad, and then that's how it usually goes. This Russian roulette scene was nothing like that. This guy fired the shot on the second bullet, and I was just shook. I was like, what? Like I subconsciously thought like I wondered, like I was like, oh damn, I wonder how much time it's gonna take. Probably like 6, or like I wonder if he's actually gonna shoot him. You wonder that. It clicks the first time. I don't even know if he asked a question. He might have. He's like, that's like the wrong answer, Superman. He clicks the second time and it fires and it shoots him and it kills him. I'm like, what? So first I'm shook by that, but it also just reflects Lex as a character. How big of a hater he is to Superman just to kill this innocent person who he talked to once. 1 minute of screen time. He had 1 minute of screen time. He killed them just right there. It was just crazy, and it really showed how evil he was. Like as big of a mastermind that Lex is, like he could build like a destroyinator or just like as I have a bunch of. He could build a destroyinator, and he's gonna threaten to rule the world if he doesn't do this or if people don't do that. He's just this. I felt like this showed how evil he could be. Just give him a gun, you know. Like he's just that's just him. He doesn't need to do anything big. He doesn't need to do anything just evil. He just like that's just how I feel like the simplest things is just showed how you could just pick up a gun, shoot a man in cold blood, just to make Superman mad, and it's like it is just crazy. This like it's evil obviously, but it's just like one of my favorite scenes. It's just actually just crazy. Next, I think I want to talk about a controversial spin this movie takes, and that's more about like how the biological parents are portrayed in this film. The parents leave a message. They usually leave a message. They left a message in Christopher Reeve's Superman as well as um, Man of Steel, and each message was positive. You couldn't you couldn't hate the parents. The parents just wanted to take their kid and just put him just get him away from Krypton. It was blowing up. They just wanted to get him out of there, and just whatever planet he lands on. It's probably Earth. The people of Earth are just they're weak. You have to protect them, you know. And this is how the first message starts off with Superman. It starts off with like the first message gets cut out, but it's like you're the hope. They're like they're simple, and you just like you're stronger than them or whatever. But then like the second half of the clip, it turns out that his parents are actually assholes or whatever, and they they're telling him to conquer Earth now, and they're telling him to take as many wives so he could spread his Kryptonian seed or whatever, and just way different from the other movies. And I feel like this is like kind of controversial. Um, you know, like they're like, why do this? You know, and I'm just gonna tell you what I think about it. I think they took this route to shake his beliefs, you know, releasing the clip just of this message to the world, just kind of like turned everyone against Superman. And then Superman was like, he had stated that his beliefs were founded or like they had a foundation on the parents' first message on like, oh, they're like simples, like you are their hope, like you're like better than them, so you have to like take care of them or whatever. Like that's what his beliefs were on, and he had stated that publicly. So now like the whole message is, I was like, this is the same message. So like, and you know like the people's beliefs are shook. They think Superman wants to take over now. Superman's beliefs are shook because on like this video that I base my thing on is like turns out to be not what he wanted it to be. Him, there's people you think like your parents, you just find out that they wanted you to do some bad stuff, you know? And yeah, obviously that would affect anyone. You'd be like what do I do now? Like do I listen to them? Do I still go against them? If I don't think it's right, you know? And immediately this just opened the door for his Earth parents to step up, because that's where he goes to when he was weakened or whatever. He was injured, to his Earth parents. And here is when his dad and him have like a really good just heart to heart message. It was like really emotional, like not emotional like crying emotional. It was just like you're just watching it, and you're like yeah, like oh my god, like the words his dad is saying, it's just like it's exactly what he needed to hear. like like these are biological parents. He goes like, but like you just gotta do what you believe in. And it was just perfect because his whole beliefs, like earlier, even using like the best quote in the movie about how being kind is the new punk rock. And as corny as that sounds right now, the whole scene, the whole movie, the whole emotional hits of the movie weren't they weren't corny at all. None. It was never corny. Like, just the way it was written, the way it was said. Maybe if he did specifically say like, "Oh, maybe being kind is the new punk rock." Like, maybe if he said that, it would have been kind of corny. But he didn't say it like that. I'm saying it like that because I can't remember what he said. But um, that's what I'm saying. This is what he believes in. Like, even if it was founded by his biological parents, his his Earth dad is just like reinforcing his beliefs, his own beliefs. Like just, your parents, like, they're fine. They're fine, but you just gotta do you. And it really hit home. Like, it like it hit the audience. I think so, and that's why they kind of took this take. Although I don't know if I really liked it. I could understand why they would do it like that. I felt like his beliefs could have been shaken another way. Like, the politics in this, when Lois was interviewing Superman, like, he was like already getting really defensive and stuff. So I feel like if they just emphasized the politics and how it got into his head more, they could have. I feel like they could have gone that route without it, really affecting it. But I think they just went this route to emphasize and make up, like, the parents' relationship with him, to make up for, like, the fact that they didn't have an origin story. Because in Man of Steel, they had his origin story, and his dad was like a super big part in, like, how he is what he was, like, and his Earth dad was like, that's what I mean. His biological dad, like, also helped him, I guess. But the Earth dad was like the main reason Superman was that it was, and I think they just set this up to emphasize that a little bit more. So, like, it is what it is, and honestly, like, it doesn't really affect it. I feel like it doesn't really affect it that much. You might not like the his biological parents now, like, as you would, but I mean, like, when do you even talk about that? Like, you're not like, like, oh, Superman's dad is my favorite character because he told Superman to be good, and you're not like, I hate Superman's dad because it's the same way. You're not like, I hate Superman's dad because he told him to take over the world. Like, it's just, oh well, like, it is what it is, and I think, like, although, like I said, it could have been a different route. This route is fine. Like I said, I think they use it to emphasize the Earth parents relationship more, to make up for the fact that they didn't have an origin story in this film. So, and this leads to one of my favorite parallelisms this movie has. In the beginning of the movie, they talk. He while he's laying in the bed surrounded by robots, he gets asked he gets offered to play a recording of his parents' message, and this goes to his biological parents, and it shows the first half of the message, the good part of the message. It soothes him. It soothes him, they said, and it did. And you heard the message, and, like, yeah, this message would soothe me too. If my biological, like, dead parents would left this message for me, like, it would soothe me too. It would, like, reinforce me. It just does that. And by the end of the movie, the same spot, the same scene. Would you like to see a message of your parents again? He goes, yeah. It soothes him, like he said again. Only this time, it shows recordings of his Earth parents, just childhood videos, just his Earth parents on the farm. Carrying him both arms, carrying him up like he's flying. Just a whole circle of just film with his Earth parents in him. It's honestly really, like, it was pretty beautiful. Like, that was one of the more emotional scenes, and it was the end, and it was like a direct parallelism, and I think it showed very good character development for him, as well as just, like, you just look at it and you're just like, oh, that's like, oh, shucks, and I think it was really good character development considering his circumstances for the whole movie. Overall, like I said again, great film. I would recommend 9 out of 10 in my opinion as of right now. Music was great. The plot was good. Some side stuff. The characters, I think they all worked. There wasn't a character where I'm like, why are they in the movie? It felt natural, and fun, and each character had something to do. Um, I don't really. Just some other spoiler stuff. I don't really. I didn't think too much of like the Supergirl, like showing up, just cause like, I think that's what it was meant. You're not supposed. I don't think you're supposed to like look at Supergirl and be like, oh my god, it's Supergirl. It's just like a great introduction, and honestly, maybe that could have been the post credit scene, cause the post credit scenes weren't really. They were nothing. Like, they were fine. They were just, they were whatever. They didn't lead to anything into the next movie. I wouldn't wait for the whole post. I wouldn't wait for the whole credits to watch it again. But they were just, they weren't like Thanos putting the gauntlet on type post credit. Um, Same with Peacemaker. That one was pretty cool. The Peacemaker cameo was pretty cool, but it was like 5 seconds. But like, I just, I honestly, I'm excited for the DCU universe to get started again, and I think this was a great. I don't know if it's the first film, because there was like recent projects that kind of like, I don't know if like, I don't know what's canon or not right now. Hopefully it becomes clearer, but I can't wait for this new path that we're heading on, and that's it. Thank you.